If everything you need to survive fits into a single bow, would you have the courage to step into the ancient forests of Tanzania? At Lake Eyasi, the Hadzabe people do exactly that every morning, with absolute silence. No showmanship, no GPS, and absolutely no backup plans. In this barren land, survival does not depend on technology, but on the ability to read the ground and the direction of the wind to make accurate life-and-death decisions on the first try. This is not merely a hunt, but a story of discipline, community connection, and the philosophy of knowing what just enough means in a modern world full of artificial excess. Hit subscribe right now to join us on this journey back in time to the most primal instincts of humanity. The ancient forest of Tanzania in the early morning has no sound of car horns, only the dry wind whistling through the acacia canopies and the eerie silence of the savanna. The Hadzabe men leave the camp with completely empty stomachs, fully aware that a failed trip means a suspended sentence of hunger. They move silently like ghosts, unhurried but decisive, because hunger never waits. Each step placed on the ground is a gamble of life itself on the ability to master survival instincts forged over thousands of years. The silence at this moment carries the weight of ancient wisdom that modern humans have long lost within concrete blocks and the blue light of electronic devices. The Hadzabe tribe has reigned over this land for more than 50,000 years, serving as the most vivid living embodiment of our distant ancestors' way of survival. They step into the bushes without a specific target list. Their prey lies in the fresh tracks just imprinted on the sandy dust, or the breath of the ancient forest that has just brushed through the acacia canopies. Today, the target is a strange creature that many people may have never heard of, the Arvar, the giant digging machine of the Dark Continent. For the Hadza people, the Arvar is not just a block of meat providing energy, but also a treasure trove of traditional medicinal knowledge passed down through tens of thousands of scorching seasons in the Ida Valley. They walk with the mindset of the last hunter-gatherers on Earth, understanding that nature never gives anything easily. The life of the Hadzabe tribe has been sustained this way for tens of thousands of years. No agriculture, no food stockpiling, and absolutely no fear of the future. They live completely separate from the modern world, treating each day as a direct dialogue with the wind, dry grass, and traces on the dusty ground. Here, the concept of existence is simplified to the utmost. Either you hunt successfully, or you go hungry. Every hunter carries within him the pride of a true warrior, who sustains the rhythm of life for the entire tribe. The most important weapon in this hunt is the primitive, yet extremely powerful, wooden bow, crafted from the most flexible types of wood in the forest. Each bowstring is carefully checked and drawn taut to ensure maximum energy storage for the decisive shot. Hadzabe hunters do not need modern distance measuring devices. Their eyes and arms have become a precise positioning system after tens of thousands of practice sessions. Every tool they carry is the embodiment of collective memory, passed down directly from one generation to the next, without books. Accompanying the bow are iron arrows coated with dark, thick desert rose tree resin poison, a silent venom powerful enough to bring down large creatures after seeping into the blood. This poison does not kill the prey instantly, but quietly paralyzes the respiratory system, giving the hunters time to follow the tracks. Weapon preparation takes place in absolute silence, without complex strategy meetings or arguments. For them, weapons are not merely killing tools, but the only shield separating the hunter from death or a devastating accident in the Tanzanian jungle. They understand the limits of their tools and turn them into extensions of their own bodies. To become completely invisible to the aardvark's keen sense of smell, the hunters rub a layer of fine ash over their calloused bodies. This ash helps erase human scent and allows their skin color to blend completely into the gray of rocks and savanna dust. They move silently along the wind direction, their bare feet pressing into the barren ground to eliminate any sound from the dry, decaying leaves. Sweat dries on their sun-scorched skin. Thorns pierce painfully into the flesh, but no hunter stops or complains. The silence at this moment is not peace. It carries the weight of a ruthless invisibility tactic in the open savanna. Every movement of the hunting group is meticulously calculated and minimized. No wasted action, no wrong step, because nature does not allow corrections. They glide between the dry acacia thickets with ruthless calmness, keeping their minds still to be ready to receive even the smallest changes. The group moves in a sparse line, each person maintaining their own field of vision while still keeping a common rhythm like a unified mind. They are not just walking, they are reading the space, absorbing the faintest signals to detect the hidden target. The boundary between hunter and prey at this moment is as thin as a spider's thread under the harsh sun of the savannah. The Hadzabe read the ground like an open book, decoding every small footprint, still warm droppings, or blades of grass that have just been pressed down. A veteran hunter kneels, using his calloused hand to press into the still loose soil to feel the freshness of the track. The powerful claw marks left on the dusty ground show that an adult aardvark had just moved through this area only a few minutes earlier. Decoding these signatures is not a textbook lesson, but practical knowledge paid for with blood and perseverance over many generations. Their concentration focuses on every millimeter of the track to accurately determine when the animal left its dark burrow. They also read the areas of freshly dug-up soil, unmistakable signs of an aardvark using its steel-like claws to break open termite mounds in search of food. Although aardvarks are usually creatures of the night, the rhythm of the ancient forest occasionally forces them to change their habits, exposing vulnerabilities under sunlight. The group of hunters does not need modern maps. The dusty ground itself is the survival diagram recording the entire flow of life and death information. They move deliberately against the wind, ensuring human scent is not detected by the animal from a distance. Every small detail, from a broken twig to the direction of flying birds, is connected by them to precisely locate the deep burrow killer. The aardvark is not an ordinary animal. It is a giant digging machine, capable of burrowing 5 or 6 meters deep underground. Its burrow is wide and deep enough for an off-road vehicle to fall into if it accidentally collapses. This is an intelligent opponent with extremely sensitive hearing that can detect the smallest vibrations of human footsteps from a great distance. The group of hunters freezes the moment they discover the large burrow entrance, holding their breath tightly to create no vibration in the scorching air. The life and death boundary at this moment lies in human perseverance against the hiding instinct of the mighty beast. The entire group forms an arc formation, maintaining just enough distance to encircle the burrow entrance without making any sound. When the ancient forest changes its rhythm, all creatures must adapt, and the Hadzabe are masters at waiting for the right moment. There is no cheering, no early celebration, only very soft whispers and subtle hand signals. The hunter's eyes lock onto the darkness inside the burrow, where killing intent is already clearly present, even though the target has not fully emerged. They stand firm, arrows already on the bowstrings, waiting for a single opening from the enemy to make the decisive move. Suddenly, the ground near the burrow entrance shakes slightly as a heavy mass of muscle begins to move beneath the hazy dust. The aardvark senses danger and tries to retreat deeper into its dark fortress burrow, but the Hadzabe hunters are one step faster. As the dark shadow flickers, the bowstring snaps powerfully, tearing through the silence, and the first poison-tipped arrow strikes the target with precision. A dry, sharp whoosh rings out, marking the moment the boundary between life and death is torn apart. The monster lets out a hoarse roar and writhes in pain as the tree resin death begins to seep into its bloodstream, paralyzing every muscle. The battle shifts to an extremely dangerous close quarters phase, where pure strength confronts the supreme survival skills of the hunters. The other hunters immediately rush in to finish the prey decisively, ensuring the creature does not suffer prolonged, unnecessary pain. They use the strength of their hands and wooden sticks to restrain the wildly thrashing long body of the giant aardvark. The constricting force and jerks from the beast's powerful muscles test the endurance limit of the hunter's calloused hands. After a few suffocating seconds of struggle, the creature's movements slow and then stop completely, returning stillness to the land beneath the acacia trees. If moments like these make you see life differently, don't hesitate to leave a comment and share your thoughts with us. A low tongue click signals that the mission is complete. The giant aardvark is dragged out of the burrow and hoisted onto the hunter's shoulder. There is no triumphant cheering or showmanship, only light smiles on their lips and radiant eyes from the skilled archers. For them, a successful hunt is not for personal achievement, but the responsibility to bring food back for the entire community. The downed prey is a silent acknowledgement of one life sacrifice to sustain the human cycle of survival. Fresh blood drips onto the red, sandy ground, marking the end of a real day of labor amid the wild nature. The group of hunters quickly moves to a clearing in the sparse forest, the familiar gathering point after every success. Here, the prey is placed down with discreet respect for a worthy opponent. They make soft, tongue-clicking sounds as a gesture of gratitude for Mother Tanzania's generosity. In the Hadzabe world, killing a creature is not a brutal act, but a necessary part of life. They take only what is enough for today and respect the balance of the ecosystem by never exterminating. Each drop of sweat dries on their dusty skin, recording a dramatic survival journey. Skinning and butchering are carried out decisively, right on the spot, using sharp stone knives and skilled hands. They remove the thick skin and quickly sort the usable meat portions with the precision of those who have done this countless times in their lives. Each part is meticulously divided. The liver and heart are usually roasted on the spot to replenish the strength of the exhausted hunters. Every action is raw, direct, and optimized for time to avoid attracting scavengers lurking around the savanna. The entire process flows continuously, with no step repeated or needing multiple adjustments. They absolutely do not use water to wash the meat in order to preserve the natural flavor completely and save the precious resources of the savanna. Each cut demonstrates a deep understanding of animal anatomy by people who live entirely by hunting. The experienced hunters guide the younger ones on how to handle each piece of meat and joint according to the ancient customs of their ancestors. There is no waste. Even the smallest parts are kept for the tribe's communal meal. This is a practical ritual where the value of life is honored through the way humans consume nature's gifts. An elderly hunter lifts the tail of the aardvark and begins explaining the folk medicine that has been passed down through many generations. They believe that the aardvark's tail, when mixed with golden forest honey, becomes a precious medicinal ingredient. This remedy is especially effective for treating headaches, colds, or mild fevers in the tribe's children. This is proof that the aardvark not only provides food, but also contributes to the treasure trove of medicine and enduring spiritual beliefs. This knowledge is not found in books, but is deeply imprinted in the minds of the younger generation through real observation right at the hunt site. In the Hadzabe world, every part of the animal contains certain medicinal or spiritual value. The preparation of medicine does not happen immediately, but the knowledge is repeated to maintain the chain of wisdom spanning tens of thousands of years. They live amid nature and turn every product into a tool to maintain the community's health. Watching how they respect each part of the aardvark, we realize the value of the most primal connection between humans and nature's healing properties. The young hunters listen with absolute respect for their elders, who hold the medical map of the savanna. The aardvark meat is brought back to the camp and shared equally among everyone, including the women and elders who did not participate in the hunt. For the Hadza, meat is vital fuel that helps them endure long journeys under the scorching sun, rather than just the dish for enjoyment. Here, there is no concept of dieting or eating for luxurious pleasure. Food is necessary energy for survival in a harsh environment. This absolute fairness is the invisible bond that has helped the tribe survive and thrive for tens of thousands of years of history. If one person hunts successfully, the whole camp eats. If they fail, no one has to starve alone. Even the camp's hunting dogs receive their well-deserved share of meat. They are not just pets, but important partners that help guard, track, and protect the camp from leopard threats at night. This is a powerful symbiotic relationship built on trust and mutual support over centuries. The aardvark meat feast takes place in instinctive satisfaction, where every member from the elderly to the young feels connected through the shared achievement. Sharing is not a personal choice, but the supreme law that helps humans overcome all adversities of the Tanzanian savanna. At the center of the camp, the fire is started by rubbing wooden sticks together, releasing the characteristic scent of ash and smoke from primal existence. The aardvark meat is roasted directly over the glowing embers, and the rich aroma spreads through the air, signaling fullness after a long day. The hot pieces of meat are broken by hand and pass naturally around the circle of the campfire. The sounds of chewing, tearing meat, and crackling fire create a symphony of survival, dispelling the cold and fatigue of the hunters. The once tense atmosphere of the hunt is now replaced by the warmth and peace of community life. The Hadzabe take only what is enough for today and never worry about a distant future that does not exist on this barren land. Happiness for them is simple: a full stomach and the complete presence of the community amid the vast sky and earth. They live fully in the present, enjoying the gifts from Mother Earth with profound humility. Looking at the flickering fire, we recognize a part of humanity that the modern world has unintentionally forgotten in its rush toward technology. A hunter's day ends with satisfaction in what is called just enough, shedding all the worries of the complicated outside world. The journey of facing the aardvark and surviving among the Tanzanian bushes reminds us, humans were once part of nature, not its conqueror. If one day only your own skills and instincts remain, how long could you survive in this uncertain, wild world? This story is not only about hunting, but about the lesson of being human, knowing how to share, how to respect limits, and how to know one's own limits before the great Mother Earth. If you can feel the pulse of survival through this raw story, please leave your thoughts and subscribe to the channel to join us on the journeys ahead. All traces of today's hunt will soon be erased by the savanna's wind and sand, as if no disturbance had ever occurred on this dusty ground. But the soul of the confrontation and the survival wisdom will remain preserved in the memory of the last hunters on Earth. We will return with other expeditions deep into the heart of the Dark Continent, where life and death are separated only by a single breath. Prepare for the most authentic and raw moments of life on the Tanzanian savanna, where instinct always leads the way. See you again in the journey to explore the wildest secrets of humanity.